This video is for Packet Tracer 2.4.1.2. It's a skills integration challenge. There are 3 different variations of this, but the steps are all going to be the same. Your diagram over here may be in a different order or different configuration, but you'll have 2 PCs and 2 switches, and that's what you're going to need to set up. First thing you need to do is, if I were to click on a switch, you'd see that the configuration is locked. That is because they want you to use the console cable, which is this blue cable that I clicked on, and you connect it to the RS-232 of one of the PCs and to the console connection of the switch. And then when you click on the PC and it brings up the desktop, and I click on desktop, I'm going to want to go to the terminal. These terminal configurations I accept as is. Now it shows me as being logged into the switch, and in this case it is switch ASW1. Now I need to, sorry, I had to take a short break. What I need to do is configure this switch, and the first thing I want to do is I want to change from the user mode to the privileged executive mode, which is enable, and it changes from a caret to a hashtag. Now what I need to do at this point is I need to go into configure terminal. You'll notice that you can tell what or where you located in your control in your command line by what it says right here. I'm in config mode now. Now I need to set up a host name, and that host name is ASW-1. Now I've named the switch. Now the next thing, I'm not certain, sorry about that, I'm not certain if it talks about it in the chapter or not, but at this point I'm going to type in the following command. It is no IP domain dash lookup. And basically what that tells the command to do, the command line, is that if you make a mistake when you're typing, don't go looking for the IP address or the what's the word I'm looking for? The command, especially looking up the IP domain, because it'll cycle and cycle and cycle, and might take 15 or 20 minutes before it comes back and says that it couldn't find it. So by typing this command right here, the no IP domain lookup, you prevent that. The next thing I want to do is I want to enable my secret password, which in this case is right here, 6EBUP. So right there, I'm going to type enable secret, and then what the password is. So it is 6, lost track of where it was, EBUP. Verify that I did that right. 6 EBUP. 6 EBUP. Enter. Now I wish to configure my console line and put a password on it, which is going to be this password here, the XAW6K. To do that, I will come in here and I type line console 0. Now I've got 2 ways I can do this. I can type, and I'm going to do it one way on the console and the other way on the VTY line, so you can see the difference. On this one, I'm going to type in password, and it's X A W 6K X A W 6K, and then I'm going to tell it that you need to log in. Otherwise, if you don't put the login command there, it will not ask for a login password when you go into the console. Now I want to put my password on my VTY lines, and I'm going to do it the opposite way so you can see what happens here. I need to change to my VTY lines, which is line VTY 015. I'm going to put in my password. Oh, did that backwards. I want to put in login. Now it tells me that the login is disabled on all these lines until I've set my password, which is why you set your password first and then hit login. Just alleviates all this. Password. And I'm back to X A W 6K. XAW6K, XAW6K. I want to exit. Now what this does is it's going to back me up to my config, out of configure line, back to configure. Now I'm supposed to encrypt all my clear text passwords. Okay, to encrypt my passwords, it is service password dash encryption. And then I need to create a message of the day banner. So that is going to read banner MOTD, message of the day. Now you need to have a symbol that starts and ends the actual banner itself, what you want to be displayed. So I will use the hashtag, and it says over here in the instructions that it has to have the word warning in it. So warning, unauthorized use prohibited. And I'm not a math major or English major, so I may have spelled it wrong. Certainly looks like I did. Let's see if it looks better with only one T in there. Oh, God bless me. Prohibit. Now I'm totally confused. Unauthorized. I can't spell worth beans today, can I? I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to exit again. It should take me back to my privileged mode. Now, I'm going to go and type show run, which is going to show me this running configuration. Now, service password encryption, host name. My enable secret is in there. No IP domain lookup. My console, my banner right here. I have not set up my interface right here. My interface VLAN 1 with an IP address, and I haven't turned it on. Line console 0 has password, login required, VT 0 to 4, password, login required. Now it's ended. So now I need to, I'm going to stop this recording for a moment. Okay, I do have my banner, my prohibited misspelled, so I'm going to go in and fix that. Oh, one of them days. And I want to do I think that's better. Now I wish to set up my IP address in my VLAN 1. And I'm going to use this information right here, the IP address and the subnet mask. And to do that, I need to type in interface VLAN 1 IP address, and that is going to be 128.107. And let me back up. Yep, I got out of my config. I keep screwing up. I keep forgetting to go back into my configure terminal setup, and that's where I need to be. I need to have this little word config in there. So let's try this again. Oh, that works better. That config if stands for config interface. And I'm going to do IP address. We're looking at 128.107.20.10 with a subnet mask of, well, somehow I screwed that one up. And subnet mask of 255.0 128.107.2010. And I'm going to type in no shutdown. That'll turn the interface on. You'll notice right here it tells you that the interface is now changed to state to up. Exit. Exit again. It tells me the system has been configured from the console by the console. And now, if I remember the right thing, I want to copy my running configuration, which is what I've just typed in, to my startup configuration. But before I do that, I'm going to do a show run. See if I have everything in there. I've got the host name, I've got my secret, I got no IP domain lookup. I have my VLAN addressed. I've got my message of the day. I got my console with a password. I've got my VTY with a password. Okay, so now copy running config. Yep, destination file, I want to be the startup configuration. So I'm going to hit OK. Now I should be done with that. And if I hit exit, it takes me totally out. Now to re-enter my console, hit my enter button. It asks my password. In this case, that's the line password, which is the X, capital A, W, 6K. I'm back into my switch. Now if I want to go back in and to the privileged user mode, I type in enable, enter. It asks me for my password, which is my secret password, which is 6EBUP. And I'm back into my privileged mode indicated by this hashtag right here. So now I've got this particular switch configured. I'm just going to exit out of there. Now I'm going to stop working here for a moment. I'm going to come over to this PT activity. And the time is long because I've been doing other things. But I've got 29 out of 90 things done. If I hit my check results button, and of course it puts it behind everything, it says I haven't finished it. But if I click on my assessments, it's going to tell me what I have completed, and I have completed all of my setup on switch 1. Now I need to complete switch 2 and my 2 desktops. Close that, bring that back over here, where it's kind of out of my way. I'm going to click on this. Now I want to close, I'm going to set up my user 1. To do that, I close this terminal, come over here where it says IP configuration, click on that. And right here, I'm going to type in the IP address, which in this case is 128.107.20. Make sure I got the right one, 25. And then I'm going to come down to my subnet mask line. Now it will pre-populate that, but that's not the correct subnet address, so I'm going to, or subnet mask, so I'm going to wipe that out. 255.255.255.0. That's going to be correct. Now if I close this and I look over here again, I've now completed 45 out of 90 items. So I've completed half of what I need to do. Now I'm going to see if I can show you, I don't know if you want to call it a trick or another way to do things, but you can create in WordPad a RTF file, a rich text file where you put in all of your commands, and then you can do a copy and paste and it'll just run everything. So I've already got what I call a base switch load done. This is what it looks like. Now, obviously my host name is wrong, so I'm going to come in here now. I'm going to do this host this time. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to change that host name to ASW-2. No IP domain lookup. My enable secret password, in this case, I'm going to change that to, over here and look at this, my secret password right there is 6EBUP. Line console 0, logging synchronous. Don't worry about that for right now. My login password for my lines is right here. So I'm going to get rid of the Cisco and put in XAW6K. XAW6K, yep. Now I'm going to tell it that you have to log in. Now I've got to do my VTY lines, and my password is going to be the same. So I'm going to highlight that, copy it, just come down here, paste it right there. Okay, here's my banner message of the day. Now it said over here in my instructions that it had to have the word warning in there. So W-A-R-I-N-A, however you spell it. Okay, so now I've got the word warning in my banner. Now the question is, do I have everything done? No, I do not. I do not have my interface set up yet. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to add a line. And it should be interface VLAN 1, and then IP address, and that is, in this case, back up here, back over here, it's going to be 128.107.20.15. Whoop, got an extra 0 in there. Don't want that. 128.107.2015 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Now, if you remember at the other time when I did it previously, I had to put in the no shutdown command to turn that interface on. So no shutdown. Now, I believe I have everything that I need here. Now I'm just going to slide this off to the other side for a moment. And you'll note if, okay, before I slide it off, if it has an exclamation point in front of the line, the command line interface is going to ignore that particular line. So if I wanted to say, if I wanted to come right here and put an exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, none of these three lines would be logged in or worked on. So I'm going to slide this over here. Now, for me to configure this switch here, again, I need to take console cable, connect it to the console, swing it up here to my PC, connect it to the RS-232. Now, if I click on that, I want to go to my desktop, I want to go to my terminal. I keep these configurations, click OK. Just going to slide that up a little bit. Come down here, and then I'm going to bring this back so you can see it. I'm just going to take, and I could either get it from right here, or I can take the whole thing. I'll take all of it. Right click, copy, slide that back over so it's out of my way. Come right down here, right click, and hit paste. And everything has run. Now, the last thing I did was I configured my interface, changed it to up. I want to exit. I want to exit again. I want to do a show run. See if that looks correct. Let's see, I've got enable secret, no IP domain lookup. Sure, forgot what I was doing for a moment. My interface, my VLAN interface is set up properly, 2015, yep. Got my warning on there, my console line. Now, my passwords are visible. So I forgot to do something. What I forgot to do was put in can't spell today. Service password encryption. That is going to encrypt these clear text passwords. So that if somebody for some reason could get in here, they could read that. With the password encryption, they cannot. Now exit again. Do another show run. And now those passwords are encrypted. You'll notice that the encryption number is the same because it's the same password for all of them. And I'm going to do one exit. And okay, here's an example. If I had not put in that no domain lookup, it would be searching for this command. Password to log in. Is X. A W 6K. Enable. And that password is 6 EBU P. So everything is working there. Now I want to going to do two things actually. Right now I'm going to take a look over here where it says my completion rate is now 72 out of 90. And if I hit this check results, bring it up to the front, hit my assessment, I've got my first switch properly done. I have my second switch properly done. I haven't copied it over to the startup configuration. I've got user 1 done. I do not have user 2 done. So I have two things I need to take care of. I need to copy my running config to my startup configuration, and I need to set up user 2. Close this. Come over here. Back to there here. And right here I'm going to put copy run. I think I can shortcut it like that. Yep. Okay, and now I've changed this to a 74, where before it was a 72, so now I know that I've got that done. I'm going to close this tab. I'm going to come in here to my IP configuration. Right here, I'm going to put in this 128.127.20.30. Tab down, put in 255, 255, 255. Didn't like what I hit. Let's try it again. 128.107.20.30, 255.255.255.0. Keep my finger away from the enter button. I'll be doing good. Okay, close that. Now I've got a 90 out of 90. So I have completed the entire assignment. I have everything correctly done. If I come here and hit my check results, bring that back up to the front, I've successfully completed it. I click on my assessment tab and it shows everything has a green check. Okay? Hopefully that makes this a little bit easier. Look, you have a little bit better understanding of what's going on. And I'm going to call it quits. I will get this uploaded to my channel and then out to you. Have a good afternoon.